Tahoe here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today, I'm going to be reacting to one of the grossest things I've seen in a while. For those of you who've been following this channel for a while, you probably know that back in the day, I definitely have my experience in track and field. I ran 3 years in track and field in high school and was pretty good. Not to brag, but I did have a mile at one point below 5 minutes. Ran a 12-second 100-meter. I was kind of just like in that middle range where I was like decent at everything but not great at one thing. Now my brother, he was pretty good. He ran for a D1 team in college. But I came across this video on the internet of something really, really gross, and I was like, yeah, I definitely have to give my 2 cents on this one. So for those of you who are new, this is the J Tahoe channel. We do a lot of things here, some comedy, reacting to current events. And yeah, hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into this one. Okay, so it looks like this was on ABC 7 News. This was where the first footage of this was shown. This is the Virginia State High School League Championship meet, and the two running here, this is Alaila Everett and Kaelene Tucker. And as you can see here, she just wails her in the back of the head. We're gonna get into, okay, like, she's claiming that it was an accident, right? Alaila Everett. That's the taller girl on the inside there. But you can see here, she just reaches back and bops her. Guys, that was not an accident, okay? Like, just even seeing it from this angle, how far she reached back there, that is not a stride length, okay? I have no doubt that she was being passed. This is Kaelene Tucker, promising young athlete. We'll actually look at her mile split in a second and look at some of her times. But she was about to get passed, and she thought she was trying to be slick, trying to cheat. We'll look at interviews from both of them in a second. But Everett, the one who attacked her here, is trying to say that this was an accident. That, you know, she took a big stride length and it ended up hitting her again. I am calling such BS on that. In 3 years of running track and field, nothing like that has ever happened. Those batons weigh like 2 pounds, okay? They're aluminum. I've been hit by it by accident a few times. It really doesn't hurt. So to knock somebody off the track like that, right? And it was later found out that Tucker actually sustained a concussion from that. You'd have to whale somebody with that thing. And we're going to look at this from another angle in a second too, just to see like how BS that is that anybody could claim that this is that this was an accident. But I'm telling you right now, this was no accident. Okay, Alaila Everett, you wanted us to look at this from another angle, so let's do just that. Look how far she reaches back there. It's like all the way back here, okay? When you are running, okay, let me put this into context, okay? This is a 4x2 100-meter relay. This is a full tilt sprint event. When you are full tilt sprinting, you're kind of going like this, right? You're pumping back and forth, like you are taking long arm lengths. But however, she's up here, okay? At no point when you are sprinting are you up here doing that, right? That just doesn't happen. And she's all the way over here, okay? Tucker's head is all the way over here, okay? For you to bop her in the back of the head, you have to reach back and be aiming that way. Even looking at it from this angle, this looks totally intentional. Okay, guys, so an important thing to denote here, back in the day, I ran mainly middle distance events, but some sprinting relays like what you're seeing here, okay? Now, when you're in a middle distance event, there are no lanes, okay? Everybody can cut in, unless you do what's called a California start, but that's rare and is the exception, not the rule, okay? And even then, everybody's allowed to cut in and run in the first lane, right? Because the first lane is the shortest distance to the finish line. Now, some people, obviously, I'm a shorter guy myself at 5'7", okay? There are tall people who have long stride lengths, okay? Long, lanky limbs. It is not out of place to, you know, catch an elbow or throw an elbow if people are aggressively crowding you, okay? Like, it's not the most sportsmanlike thing, but people will try to crowd you. They will try to be aggressive, and sometimes, you know, a little nudge, like, you know, okay, like, you know, if like an official sees you doing it, I mean, they'll use their discretion. You might get thrown out, is what it is. Never happened to me, but I have definitely like thrown an elbow at people who were crowding me. Okay, in a sprint relay, everybody starts off in staggered in their lanes. Okay, lanes 1 through 6. Now, once they've come around to the next leg of the race, right, the next person is going to be picking up that baton. They're allowed to all cut in, so it becomes like a middle distance race. It's kind of like a free for all. Everybody can run in the same lane. But to go around somebody, you kind of, let's say that person's in lane 1, you now have to go in lane 2 and cut around them. And that's what Tucker was trying to do here. Now, yes, like most of the time it's going to be no problem because there's plenty of room for you to go around unless it's just like a really tight field and there's like 6 people on top of each other, which in one of those sprint events is going to be more rare because usually somebody's, cutting ahead. What happened here was Tucker, well, we're going to look at her times in a minute. She's clearly faster than Everett in pretty much every event that's listed on Mile Split. So what I think happened was, Everett heard Tucker coming up on her, got really frustrated, and in that split second decided, even subconsciously, she was going to cheat. She was going to try to hit her with the baton. Maybe she didn't intentionally mean to give her a concussion. I don't think she meant to give her a concussion, but subconsciously she was like, oh man, I'm going to lose and I'm going to cheat. So she hit her in the back of the head with the baton there. But I just want to be, crystal clear about this. You don't hear about stuff like this because it doesn't happen. Yes, people get elbowed. People, like I've gotten a spike, almost to the head, being a shorter guy, and somebody who has a long stride length, they kick their leg up. Like that stuff, it can happen. But getting a concussion from the baton is ridiculous. Again, as I stated before, you would just have to whale somebody full force for that to actually cause a concussion. So the fact that that happened, and when we look at it from both angles, right, you can see that her arm was nowhere where it would be when you were sprinting. It's almost like a vertical motion, right? Like your fists are pretty much making a vertical motion with the ground without much change there. There's no reason you'd be back here. Okay, that you wouldn't do that in any type of race, okay? Not a middle distance race, and certainly not a sprinting race where arm pumping is very, very important. So again, it just doesn't make sense. And I can't buy for 1 second that this was an accident. Okay, so I did want to look at this. This is, times run in various events by both athletes. So you can see on the left here, we have Kaelene Tucker, and on the right, we have Alaila Everett. And again, this doesn't excuse anything, right? Like whether you were going to win, whether you were going to lose. I'm just digging into the possible motive here. Like, and when you look, right? When you look at the 2025 indoor rankings, it's not even close, okay? We've got Tucker running a 42.79 300 meter. Everett almost 3 seconds slower at a 45. In an event like the 300 meter, 3 seconds is an eternity. I think my best 300 meter back in the day was like 38 or 37. So just to give you perspective, right? Even like that, and I was getting beat by people running like a 35, 36, 34 on occasion. That's getting smoked, guys. So again, right? Like that's just the 300 meter. Tucker, they said actually earlier in that same meet, actually set a meet record with a 7.02 55 meter. That's pretty solid. That is a race that is all about acceleration. It's literally half of a football field, so you have to explode off the finish line to do well in that race, okay? Then it looks like Everett actually runs more events. She's running the 55 hurdles. She's running a 60 hurdles. She does the long jump as well. So again, more and also the 500 meter, which is a rare one you don't see often. I used to run the 600 meter back in the day. But yeah, from what you can see here, right, in the events that they actually run together, Tucker definitely having better times here. Some not bad times for women's junior in high school, like a 12.8 100 meter. That's about the same as I ran, guys. So like to give you perspective, like I mean, I was not like especially good at the 100 meter, okay, like maybe a little above average, but like that's pretty close, right? A 200 meter in 25.5. Yeah, for a junior female, that's pretty fast, guys. So just to give you that perspective here, this is kind of how the two athletes stack up on on paper here. Okay, so I wanted to take a look at this because we get to hear Everett's side of the story here, and I want to be clear, guys. Like, I'm at this channel. I'm all about hearing everybody out and hearing both sides of the story because, according to the footage, it looked bad. So let's see, how Everett tries to explain it.
This morning, Alaila Everett, the track star at the center of that viral video,
Looks bad. She reached out,
another runner in
whacked her.
baton is speaking out. Everett says the incident is a complete misunderstanding, pointing to another angle of the race as proof. The baton was literally like her arm was literally hitting the baton like this until she got a little ahead. And
Yeah, I don't buy that. I'm sorry. Because again, you wouldn't turn the baton like that and her hand was all the way out here. So I'm really not buying that.
my arm got stuck like this. In the video, Everett is seen.
No, no, look at that. Let's just go back for 1 second here. Let's go back for 1 second here and actually let's adjust the playback speed. Right, let's go to we got playback speed. Why don't we look at that at 0.5? Let's look what happens here.
In the video, Everett
Yeah, before her hand didn't get stuck, guys. She reached back.
seen
No way. Her hand was all the way out here.
on the inside track running the 4
Let's
by
turn this back to the
at the Virginia State
normal
High
playback
School
speed.
Championships when junior Kaelene Tucker came around the outside on the corner.
That's when she hit me with the baton. I just felt a bang on my head, and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaelene dropping her baton.
And I have to say too to Kaelene Tucker, she took that like a champ. Her reaction has been she's asking for an apology, which I think is very reasonable in this case.
She was later diagnosed with a concussion.
Terrible. Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna wrap this up by saying that I don't buy for 1 second that was an accident. Do I think that possibly she regrets it and the decision to do it was a subconscious split second, spur of the moment thing? Yeah, I would buy that. But again, right, like to concuss somebody with a track and field relay baton, you would just have to like whale them, okay? Like that would be like the thing weighs like 2 pounds. There is no way that you gave somebody a concussion, potentially a skull fracture, without like putting some real force into it. That was a decision. That was a conscious decision. So I don't believe Everett. They were apparently holding a rally for her in her town. Now, Tucker, her family claims that both Everett and actually what I find a little more appalling is actually that the coach didn't reach out, right? Because like, if you're the team coach, like that is kind of your responsibility. If something like this happens, because there was an incident more than once when I was on a team where the coaches they kind of get together and settle it. If an apology is due, have that athlete make an apology, that sort of thing. So again, it just kind of like implies guilt, right? Because even if it was an accident, just make a public apology and let's move on. That's what Tucker's family is seeking here, and I don't think that they're wrong in seeking that. Because again, like I've never seen anything as egregious as that, and that's coming from someone who, like, yes, guys, I've outwardly admitted, like I have thrown an elbow or two. Okay, like people do get too aggressive. They do try to crowd you at heart, right? Like we're animals at heart. We've got we have a developed prefrontal cortex, but we have those instincts, and it's not necessarily that people are looking to cheat, but they just do it, right? Anything to give them that leg up, that little extra advantage to win. So stuff like that I can understand, but this is just like egregious, unsportsmanlike, and honestly one of the more gross things that I've seen, come out of any sporting event, right? Like this is like a boxer who puts like nails inside the glove, right? Absolutely cheating. I'm pretty appalled, and yeah, I don't buy that this was an accident. All the people who are rallying around Everett, I look at that as just enabling, really, because again, like I always try to look at it from both sides of the story. Everett wanted us to look at it from that other angle, and I did look at it from that other angle, and to be honest, that just makes it look worse. Because again, I cannot believe that she's reaching all the way back here, and the hit winds up all the way over here by accident. I've never seen anything like that happen. My brother has never seen anything like that happen, and I have watched a lot of track and field in my time, and I've run a lot of track and field in my time. So, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments here. But that's my stance on this. Yeah, this was pretty gross. All right, take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next video.